I'm continuing my journey with the Blackland Era Safety Razor. For today's shave, I'll be using the Open Comb 3-plate. Coming right up. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host John, aka Latherhog. If this is your first time here and you're looking for information, reviews, and just content based in the world of wet shaving, you've come to the right place. So I'm continuing my deep dive with the Blackland Era Safety Razor. Thus far I've used the 1 and 3 plate, and I'll be sure to leave links in the description below if you want to check that out. But this is the first open comb option that we're going with, and there's 10 plates in all. That includes 5 standard or straight bar and 5 open comb. And we're going with the open comb 3-plate today. I'm working with about 4 days worth of growth. I meant to get a shave in earlier in the week just to use probably like the 2 standard plate, but a few days kind of just blew by. So we don't have to go in order, but I will be sure to try at least get 1 shave per plate. So given that we have a little bit more growth here and just how mild I found the 1 plate to be, milder than I usually prefer, I thought 3 open comb might be a good place to try to mow down 4 days worth of growth. But before we get more into the razor and get into the shave itself, let me show you what else we'll be using today. First up for my brush will be my first use with this guy here from Wald Shaving, and this is on loan from my friend Ben over at House of Mammoth. You can see, first off, this shape. And I mentioned this in my the live mail call from yesterday, but this is called the Nimbus shape. And just looking at product photos initially, I found it a little strange, a little bit weird, but you know what? In hand, it feels really good. And I mean, that's what folks who have picked up this brush have mentioned. Like, it might look a little funny, but just the way, this little groove that your thumb and pointer kind of perfectly kind of just nestle in. So as far as ergonomically it goes, this is top notch. This knot is the J2. Which is 27 millimeters, and I believe a loft of 50 millimeters for those of you really into the brush stuff. It is a hand-tied knot, so this is definitely in that luxury realm of shaving brushes. And I think number 27, I believe it's either the series or maybe this brush in particular, but really looking forward to using this today. And as far as the soap and aftershave, I decided to go with Noble Otter Firefighter. And this is from last year's release. This one just recently came back out again just this week due to popular demand. Great label as always from Noble Otter. And this, I do believe it's an older soap base. I don't quite recall. I do believe the version I have of Firefighter might be in the older soap base, like 1 version back. So I don't, in general, we're here to more talk about the scent in case you're interested in picking up the re-release. And this is, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is one of my favorites from Noble Otter. Now, before moving further, I'd like to ask you guys to please help me do all the YouTube things. If you're enjoying this video and the videos on this channel, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please consider becoming a subscriber, as both these things really help to the growth of this channel. Alright, so let me share with you first the scent notes for Firefighter. We got grapefruit, lavender, red cedarwood, water, sandalwood, and ambergris. First, let me share some thoughts about the brush. This is an exquisite knot. I don't think I use that word quite enough, and granted, it should be reserved for things that really deserve it, but this is really an exquisite knot. I don't feel bad about using it in this case. It is pillowy soft, but it's got enough backbone and splay for my liking. Right there, easy display, but not floppy. It really hits a sweet spot as far as my preferences. It's definitely a part of that pillowiness is the density. So my first impressions of this Wald brush are very positive. And now a little bit about the scent. So I shared for you the scent notes, and the overall, the vibe I get from my nose, it is a very strongly woody aquatic. Like, so up front, I think I mentioned cedarwood and sandalwood. That's kind of what hits you first, followed by a pleasant aquatic scent. So I know that not everyone loves aquatic scents. Maybe they're a little too basic, or you just don't find them that interesting for whatever reason. I think this one though, given that it's leading with the woody notes, I think don't discount it. If you think aquatics aren't for you, I wouldn't rule this one out. I think most people will like this scent. And other than Thé Noir et Vanille, which is my favorite offering from Noble Otter, this might be my second favorite. And I know I mentioned I won't be talking too much about the soap base today, because I do think this is one version older than the current base, but man, this is some fluffy lather and very easy to work with. And just one more note about the brush. I do think, now that I've been lathering for a bit, I do think this one prefers kind of painting strokes, but as I mentioned, it splays really easily. So if you do like to smush and scrub, this can do both, but it just feels right with the painting strokes. All right, so let's go in with the first pass with the Blackland Era on the open comb 3-plate. Blade feel is still moderate on the 3. So nothing crazy. There might be and there should be an increase in audio feedback. As far as the optimal angle of this razor, I think it's fairly easy to find, and it's not super particular about hitting it at a certain angle. As I've been posting the videos using the different plates, I know people inevitably want comparisons to other razors that they might have or other razors they're considering. And I know one person who asked how did like the one plate compare to the mild Henson razor, and that one was I mean, I understood the gist of it. They're both super mild, but one thing I had to add in my reply to that comment was that the Henson, I think it's a little harder to find the optimum angle. I mean, once you find it, you're all well and good, but where it wants to be is very specific, and that's kind of based on kind of the way the head is shaped. It's a little more angular than the more traditionally rounded off Era here. But they both did fall into that category. The Henson mild and the one plate, they're both just too mild for my preferences. Open comb razor heads are always kind of interesting, because in this case, there's definitely more blade feel than the standard 3, as there should be, but it's funny, I don't think it's a huge jump in efficiency. And it's one of those things too where there's more blade feel, but I'm not really worried about cutting myself. It still feels very comfortable and smooth. All right, so the first pass, no issues whatsoever. I'd love to hear from you guys too. If you're someone who usually always chooses open comb razors, I'd love to hear from you. So leave me a comment below. What's your favorite open comb razor, or razors if you have more than one? I have a handful of them, but in general, I don't gravitate towards open comb. I mean, and that's probably on account that my general preference in razors are low blade feel and high efficiency. And open comb, as I mentioned, it ups the blade feel a little bit. Or a lot, or a lot of it sometimes. All right, so here we go with pass number 2. I think I'm going to predict as far as what will wind up to be my preferred base plate. I think it's either going to be the 4 or the 5 plate as far as the standard plate goes. But I'm not ruling out the open comb. I think if you were to rank them, I would say it's probably like in you have the standard 3, and then the open comb 3.5, then the 4, and then the open comb 4. I think that's going to be, if you're trying to figure out which ones to get, that's how I would compare the different plates. I think I'm going to like the 4 or the 5. I probably could have easily jumped to the 5 today, given 4 days worth of beard growth. But it's okay. We'll one way or another, we'll cover them all. I just realized I think I forgot to mention what blade I have, and this is the second use of the Persona Lab Blue. That is the razor blade that is packed with the razor, and I'm pretty sure I think all of the double-edged razors from Blackland are packed with the Persona Lab Blue. Which is really not a blade that I'd used before, or yeah, I really wasn't exposed to too much, and I'm really liking it. I tried Persona Reds. I don't think I tried the Persona Med Prep, which I think a lot of people like that one for sharpness. I didn't really care for the red, but I do like these Lab Blues. Alright, so really pleasant shave today. I do want to note that as I was cleaning up and kind of just feeling around for efficiency, I was able to, off camera, buff a bit. That's kind of how mild this 3 open comb is. You could buff fairly comfortably, just like, I think I'd get a few like stray whiskers around this area. And it's hard because I need to get really close to the mirror as opposed to the phone. And I just use my tongue. This is a technique thing, but I use my tongue to kind of push out, because we're talking like really like stray hairs, that's like one long one here, one longer one there. So I'll use my tongue and just push out to give more, kind of, I guess, a more firm surface area. And I did that like on a few spots here, and even like the soul patch area here. Not that I can grow or that I would grow a soul patch, but it does still have some stray whiskers sometimes. So that's what I was doing off camera, at least, and did so fine. Let's get into the aftershave splash before I forget. So here we go. Again, great artwork. I know I didn't talk too much about it, but I'm not sure. Noble Otter might have my favorite labels as far as wet shaving artisan goes. And there are quite a few solid, if you are into illustration or pretty artwork. I really do enjoy what Noble Otter puts out. And again, really fantastic scent here. I can't stress that enough. If you have never tried Noble Otter, or maybe you tried them a while ago and you're looking for something new to pick up, but this in my silly rating scale, this is a huge thumbs up for me as far as scent wise goes. And just because, again, I didn't do the research before to find out which soap, like when the new soap base came out, because this might be in the latest base, it might not. But based on the spreadsheet that I kind of, nerdily keep track of the soap base thing, I rate Noble Otter as a class as part of my tier system. So yeah, that's where it falls. It's very solid. I thought the lather today looked super creamy, very protective, and that thing wasn't going to dry out anytime soon. So either way, very quality product, one that I can't recommend enough. And as far as the razor goes, very solid shave with the open comb 3-plate here. So not a crazy jump up from the standard bar 3-plate, which is good. I think you increase each one incrementally, and it makes me hopeful that the 5 open comb will not be a bloodbath. So I think the 5 probably could have done a fine job with my 4 days worth of growth and probably more. So yeah, very solid shave here. Again, with blade feel, I don't think this will be my favorite by any means, but I'm as curious probably as you guys are what I land on. So yeah, so we can check off another base plate and move on to the next. And lastly, I can't forget to mention the Wald brush. Man, I really enjoyed this. It is a very favorable first impression, as I said, pretty much like right away as soon as I started lathering this thing. It's definitely put it on my radar. I know I'm trying to back away from like my brush acquisitions, but this one's, if you're into those high-end Badger brushes, this is definitely one to consider. Of course, keep in mind they are very limited, small batches, so it is one where you kind of have to be paying attention. You might even have to set your alarm if that's not your thing. No harm, no foul. But if you're curious about this and wanting to get one, you're going to have to do a little bit of work to catch it on release day. And so that kind of wraps up my closing thoughts on the shave today, but I want to hear from you guys as well. A lot of different things to comment on. What have you thought about the Blackland era so far in this series that I've been covering it? Love to hear from you. Also, if you've used a Wald shaving brush or you've used Noble Otter Firefighter, love to hear your thoughts on either of those as well. As always, drop me a line in the comment section down below. And that does it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your busy days and joining me for this video. I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.